Welcome to Monday's Mental Mistakes. This week we're looking at the recency illusion. The recency illusion is the tendency to believe that phenomena that are new to us are actually recent. That is, encountering something for the first time, we tend to assume that's because it's a new phenomenon. The recency illusion makes us more likely to think that cultural practices that we are unfamiliar with are new inventions. At the same time, we're unlikely to realise the limits of our cultural knowledge. Here's a simple example. Text message speak, like abbreviating words and creating acronyms, definitely seems like a new phenomenon. But given what this video is about, I'm sure you've guessed that it isn't as new as it seems. So, in which decade was the first recorded use of the initialism OMG to denote "Oh my God"? If your instinct was that it was significantly more recent than 1917, then congratulations, you suffer from the recency illusion like the rest of us. In fact, the first recorded use of OMG was almost 100 years ago in a letter to Winston Churchill in 1917. Such abbreviations and acronyms have been in use a lot longer than texting, but were perhaps not in common use for several decades before the 1990s. Because of this, the novelty of the phenomenon to the average person is mistaken for the phenomenon being genuinely new. This is the recency illusion. The principal way to counter the recency illusion is to recognise that our knowledge is often blinkered, and so the default assumption should be that something that we've only just come across is in fact not a recent phenomenon. The assumption, unless there's evidence otherwise, should be that at best we are noticing an increased awareness or popularity of something that has existed for a much longer time. For example, when the Atkins diet was popular in the early 2000s, it would have been tempting to infer that the diet itself was new. However, the diet was developed in the 1970s, and it was only its popularity that was new in the 2000s. The recency illusion, combined with other biases, also lead us to believe that our current historical situation, either nationally or internationally, is unique. This belief is usually incorrect. It is rare to find genuinely new and unprecedented changes in societies, and historians have warned against this belief for as long as this belief has existed. The concerns that the older generation have now about adolescence, technology, and changing social norms have been echoed in records dating back for at least the past 2 centuries in Western cultures. For example, in the 1920s, there was serious concern that the latest invention, crosswords, were leading to the death of social interaction and were highly addictive. Whenever a social change seems unprecedented and threatens the foundation of a society, our assumption should be that such changes have probably occurred before and are unlikely to have the impact we think they will. One mechanism that can cause the recency illusion is selective attention. It is well documented that our attention is limited, and that we erroneously assume that the things that we have noticed are representative of the whole. In this way, when we come across something that we haven't noticed before, we wrongly assume that that's because it's new. The mistake here is the unacknowledged belief that we would have noticed it sooner had it been there. That is not always correct. Recognising just how flawed our perceptions can be allows us to avoid being fooled by the recency illusion. In conclusion, the recency illusion is the tendency to assume that phenomena that are new to us are actually recent. Until next week, may your mental mistakes be minor.